Hey y'all, welcome back to Dragonfinity. Today I'm here with,
Anniversary.
and today we're going to be talking about driving tests.
So guys, when you do your driving test, most important thing is make sure you do the practice questions. You know how you have the app theory 4-in-1? Do not just go to the book and be like, oh yeah, I have to read all this. No, you have to do practice questions. And then once
Yeah,
you
like
kind of
past
get the practice questions,
papers.
yeah, and past papers, and once you kind of get the gist of that, then you can kind of see what you don't know. And then you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my God. So then that's when you go to the book sometimes and make sure you look at those road signs. That's all you have to do.
Exactly. And I always suggest do not do your theory first thing, like before driving. You want to get your lessons sort of like get like 25 lessons in and then start your theory. You don't want to be starting your theory beforehand because if your theory actually runs out, it actually expires. And also you can learn on the job, so still learning practically.
Exactly. And you're learning practically and there's more applications. The psychology behind it is that when you do your driving first before your theory, you actually understand what the theory questions are saying because you're actually been on that road. You know what sort of roads they're talking about, junctions, T junctions, all these
Exactly.
crossroads and everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, I suggest you also make sure you revise for your theory because I actually didn't revise my theory and I actually failed the first time. And then I was really, really sad after that. And then the second time, I didn't actually show up because I booked the wrong time. Then the third time, I actually passed. I was super duper excited. But yeah, especially nowadays after coronavirus, there was been a big backlog in the driving tests and the theory tests. So it's very difficult to actually book it again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you just have to do it first go. Like it's not even that hard. It's more of a skill than memorizing things because it's more about recognition. When you look at the paper, you kind of
Hmm.
recognize the answers rather than having to be like, oh my God, what did I put? Like,
Exactly.
so yeah.
And also, yeah, now we need to decide which car we're going to drive. We do manual or automatic. What do you suggest?
I really suggest personally automatic because there's price ranges. I know there's a big price range, right?
Yeah,
And
like cost of living.
yeah, cost of living, but then I feel like automatic is a lot more modern these days. It's less, you don't have to learn about the clutch, you don't have to learn about like
Mm-hmm.
doing that while
Clitoris.
driving. Whereas automatic is like you have less lessons, you're paying for less lessons as well.
Exactly. Because I feel like when you drive, when you do manual, you're straight away going into like learning how to do your car, learning how to do the gear stick. But the thing is manual, once you do a manual license, then you can drive manual and automatic. If you do automatic, then
Yeah.
you can only do automatic. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. But that's the thing. It really depends on whether you have enough time to learn the manual and automatic. It really
Mm,
is down to how busy you are as a person when you learn it. And I personally think automatic is better because it is a more modern
hmm.
concept. And I know like manual, you can drive automatic as well, and you can afford cheaper things. But I feel like automatic is a much more straightforward thing to do. It's like a go kart.
Yeah. It depends. Like, if you're really bougie, then you have an automatic car. But like, if you're like super duper like unbougie and you have a manual car, then I'm afraid you will have to actually do the manual license. I'm
Yeah, like if
afraid.
you want to go for like a low budget car, like a £500 car from like
Hmm.
Facebook Market or something, then
Yeah, or like Gumtree or TikTok Shop.
yeah. Like if you want to be shitty, like with your like chipped plastic nails and like oily makeup with your manual car, like £500.
Oily makeup. Yeah. Okay, but I feel like with like so now it comes to a driving test. With your driving test, make sure you eat your breakfast in the morning, go for your big fat poo, because you do not want to be shitting in a car.
No,
Also,
you
I
don't want to
remember,
shit in the test either as well. So make sure you go
yeah,
for a big fat poo before. I really recommend apple cider vinegar if you want to go for a poo in the morning.
I remember having a coffee like on an empty stomach.
Super cool.
No, but the thing with
Anyways,
the coffee.
guys, we don't want to go too into depth with shitting.
Okay,
So
anyways, to the test. So with the test, you want to make sure you're really, really focusing. And my driving examiner was actually really, really friendly. Like he was like talking like, "Hi, so um are you a top or a bottom?" And then I was like, "Ah." And then he was also saying like what do you eat for dinner? And I said, I ate baraboo with putu Stuff like
stuff
that.
like that, like having small talk with the driving instructor will kind of enhance the sort of pass rate, because I feel like
Sure.
if you kind of like warm up conversations with them, they'll kind of be like, oh yeah, she's kind of nice as well.
Yeah.
You know, they'll be more lenient with you compared to when you don't talk at all. They'll be like really focused on the work, so they'll be really
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, she hasn't done that properly. But compared to when you
Uh-huh.
have a conversation with them, it's like, ha, oh ha,
Yeah.
la 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 land,
You really want to distract them. You want to even like bring up conversation, be like, oh, what did you eat for dinner? And make them think. So then they're not able to look at like if you check your blind spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the thing is, you can't really distract them that much because they know that they're there to teach you to like to assess your driving. But
Teach.
not teach. I'm so sorry, but to assess your driving. But they're kind of there to. You can kind of subtly distract them, I guess.
Yeah, it's really sudden.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. So after you get your driving test, now it's time to drive in real life. Now I feel like when you're driving in real life and you're going in the first time on your own, it's very, very difficult because like you have no one to tell you what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'll be thinking, what the hell do I do? But there's actually psychology behind this. So a psychological learning concept with the driving is that when you are driving, you're not actually using your conscious mind. You are going to initially, but then that kind of goes to your unconscious mind, which is your procedural memory, which contains all the skills, and then that will do that for you. And sometimes you can just daydream and be like, oh, I'm driving, I completely forgot. And
Yeah,
that's what it's going to build up to. So at the end of the day, you don't have to always be consciously aware of what you're like where your hands are sometimes anymore. It's about keeping your eyes on the road. That's the whole importance. Like even when there's
exactly,
music, like a person playing street music on the side, you don't look at them. You keep your eyes on the road.
exactly. And also, you always have to with your intuition. Don't do things like you follow other people's steps. Because I feel like for me, this morning, I had to go in the right lane, and then I was just following this van because like I thought I was like being his like follow upper, and then there was people beeping at me, and it was like so sad.
So yeah.
But overall, I feel like your driving test is your biggest qualification in life because degrees, A levels, GCSEs, PhDs, and
Following this
master's
white
degrees.
man.
I feel like your driving test is like a life skill. It's just like eating. You know what I mean? You need to drive. If you don't
Yeah.
drive, you need to get your license because this is not even funny.
Exactly. Driving is essentially just a skill. It's not really nothing to do with your brain. It's about just doing it at the end of the day. It's so easy to pass the test. It's more recognition than recalling stuff in your brain. You don't know, it's not
Exactly.
like an A level where you have to recall everything on paper.
Exactly.
It's literally just like, oh, I need to remember this and that in the freaking practice tests. And
Exactly.
it's just you don't even have to force yourself to remember it. You're like, oh, I remember doing this question like a second ago.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah.
Because stuff like your PhD and stuff, say you have a PhD in dance, when you're like 50 years old, are you going to be using your PhD in dance? No, you're not. Are you going to use a driving license? Yes, you are. So overall, I feel like
Exactly. If you get a PhD of pornography, yeah, and then you can't even
Exactly.
drive like to the pornography studio, like driving is so important for you. Like if you don't
Yeah.
actually use that driving skill, if you don't actually pass your test, then you're not gonna drive to the pornography studio and be like,
Yeah,
oh
you're
my
gonna have to
god,
take the
I do my
bus to
pornography
the
now.
pornography. You're gonna have to take the bus to the pornography studio, and then you're gonna get really makeup.
And chapped nails.
Yeah.
That's why I
And
prefer
then,
automatic, because manual's gonna look really tacky if you go to bougie like business
yeah,
places or
I get what
office
you mean.
jobs. It's gonna look really shit. Whereas automatic, it's like, oh my god, she's an automatic girl. You're gonna be
Oh
like,
my
oh my
god.
god, so bougie, so cool,
Oh,
you know.
yeah. You're so freaking good.
Anyways, y'all,
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this and make sure this passes your driving test.
don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see
And
you
like the
later.
channel.
Bye, y'all.